All right, everyone, now we talk a little bit more about Bernie Sanders. Right now, we're almost on a political pause in this country to the point where the Democratic primaries for a while aren't really a thing. There's no campaigning going on. By the way, you're hearing my keyboard at the moment, purring and rubbing yourself against the microphone. It's a big problem. It's definitely not a silent keyboard. Anyway, right now, there's no campaign. You can't have public gatherings of above, 10 people in some states, which means Biden's fine. He can go campaigning, but he can't travel there. He has to get in his personal helicopter. By the way, I'm playing a game of Dwarf Fortress here at the moment. Please don't do that, Kitty. Not in front of the fans. But I'm getting ready to get eaten into death. I don't know. This video will probably be off the rails like all of the others this morning. It's a little bit high energy. I'm very hyper caffeinated at the moment. It's a good way to be. What's wrong with that? Got nothing other to do than got nothing to do but rant because, of course, the downturn in Amazon sales. Might as well do a lot of video work. Have a good time. Laugh at mortality. Right now, Bernie Sanders, since he can't campaign, and since there's no primary action going on for a while, I think most of the primaries have already been delayed until June, and it's not even clear, by the way, that in the normal sense they'll even be held. The DNC at this point might as well just coronate Biden, though, because he's 300 delegates ahead. More importantly, in a national scale, Biden's running at 55. In a two-man race, he's got more than half the vote. Sanders struggles to hit 35. He's about 20 points behind Joe Biden nationally. That is insurmountable. It would take a miracle for Bernie Sanders to become the front runner in the race. Even if he did, he'd need to be a front runner by a considerable margin to stave off a contested convention. Think about it this way, Bernie fans. Even if your dude were to magically become the front runner, unless he can gain a good 10 points on Biden, which means he'd have to rise by about 30 points nationally as of this moment, it wouldn't matter. Joe Biden would still gobble up enough delegates in enough states to ensure that he was possibly going to be the nominee anyway. Now, of course, Bernie at that point goes into the convention with a few more delegates, but to stop socialism, a lot of the superdelegates have already said that they wouldn't vote for him, even if he were the front runner. They've said that they wouldn't cast their vote for him on a second ballot. Some of these people would probably walk out and refuse to participate if he were going to be the nominee. You would see, essentially, a massive schism within the party open up. It'd be worse, regardless of what happens. Here's the problem for the Democrats. No matter who's nominated, there's a schism. If Biden is nominated, some of the Bernie fans will not get behind him. I guarantee that they won't, because they were already pissed off enough about Hillary Clinton, and they've run themselves in circles convincing themselves that Bernie's lost, which is what he's suffering time and time again. He's lost 8 of the 9 last primary contests. They are convinced that this is the result of the DNC and Tom Perez and Nancy Pelosi and a bunch of neoliberals. It's not. It's the result of the voters rejecting socialism. In a two-man race, which is what we've had in the last primaries, voters rejected Sanders overwhelmingly. Even Vermonters. He won over 80% of the vote in 2016. He barely got above 50% in a non-packed field on Super Tuesday this time around. He is doing more poorly across the board than he did before. This is not due to vote rigging. This is not due to the pandemic. This is just due to people not liking him. He got completely curb stomped in Florida. Biden gained a lead. The lead extension in Florida was almost 100 fucking delegates for one state. While coming off of Super Tuesday, he was already basically the presumptive nominee. He crushed Bernie Sanders. Became inevitable again, and everyone else basically dropped out. Then who stayed in till the end there? Which was it, Warren or Bloomberg? I can't even remember because the also-rans, everyone's already forgotten about them. Elizabeth Warren's so pouty, she won't even endorse anyone. By the way, very, very telling. Despite the fact that Biden has close to clinched the nomination, Obama still hasn't endorsed the fucker. Obama, his best friend, with their friendship bracelets and their bro tier memes and all of this stuff, still can't get the endorsement of old Obama. Oh my god, poor Biden. I feel sorry for him almost because, come on, dude. He campaigned for you. He was your running mate. He did everything for you. Why haven't you fucking endorsed your friend? And it's clear they do have some sort of a bizarre, within a political realm of friendship. What the fuck is wrong with Obama? I gotta say, I know that the dude likes to keep on the sidelines almost in politics. I actually respect him more for that. He's been a better former president than he ever was a president. Just saying. I'm sure that most people agree. That being said, though, we know that Joe's not going to do well. We know he's probably going to lose. Endorse him anyway, dude. It looks bad at this point that you're not endorsing the presumptive nominee. He's 300 delegates ahead. The only other thing is that all the primaries have been shoved ahead several months. By the way, I think that's asinine. I think it's asinine to delay the primary until there are more cases of coronavirus to deal with. What are they going to do then? Justify, oh, you can show up at the polls today. Don't worry, we've got plenty of Purell's hand sanitizer. Don't worry, we sprayed every ballot with a thin veneer of isopropyl alcohol before we handed them out. So don't worry, you won't get corona from touching your ballot. I would expect that in states that are still going to vote normally, this will cause a major downturn in the turnout. Imagine during the general election, you still got a major pandemic burning through parts of the U.S. and what that'll do to turnout. By the way, because it hits city areas hardest, viruses tend to, because there's more population and more population density. In all likelihood, this would disproportionately affect Democratic voters. They'd be more likely, I think, to stay home as well. You know, in some cases because they understand medicine more. In some cases because they goddamn run themselves in circles with fucking fear all the time. Also, they think Orange Man bad, so they're like, I mean, they're still worried about martial law. I'm not going to say who, but as an anecdote, I know one person fairly well who thinks that this is a prelude to martial law. Like Trump is going to try to stave off the election and dumb shit like that. And I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. Don't fucking worry. Just, you know, buy an extra can of beans and ride it out, essentially. If he didn't prep, it's too late now. Just saying, wipe your ass with an owl in real life because there's no toilet paper at the moment. I guess you can use like construction paper if you really have to. Some people are using socks and weird shit like that, and it's like we put in an extra 8-pack of toilet paper. By the way, I'm not going to say where, but right locally to us, there's actually a place where you can get as much toilet paper and paper towels as you goddamn want. It seems like they're fully stocked. It's actually very amazing. If you follow me on Twitter, you know where I'm talking about. Not if you're just following me as a video maker, so it sucks to be you. Follow me on Twitter. Link in the description. Shameless self-pitch. Sanders is doomed. That's the long and short of it. He would have to gain 30 points in order to possibly become the front runner. I mean, in the delegate total going into the nomination process. Even then, Biden has enough delegates so that it would force a contested convention. Biden is the only person left who has a feasible path to actually being nominated without a brokered convention, a contested convention in which nobody has a clear mandate. That would be terrible for the Democrats. Bernie gets the nomination. They give it to Bernie, whether he's in front or in back. You're nominating a socialist. You're going to alienate every business dem and independent in the country. You nominate Biden. He's not charismatic. Even his own voters admit that he's likely to lose. He's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's got dementia. There is no proper solution. And if you bring in somebody from the outside, then anyone that does like Bernie or Biden would balk, and they would really schism then. That'd be the worst possible of the three outcomes. I think the best outcome for the Democrats right now is the election gets delayed, ironically enough. Because then it looks like Trump's being authoritarian, and it gives them time to maybe remedy the situation. Hope that their nominee dies so that they can take up whoever they took on as the running mate. Maybe that's what they're hoping for. Well, you know, this one has aneurysms, that one has heart disease, so, you know, it's about an even Stevens sort of bet here that one of them is going to keel over anyway in the next year. I think that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that their nominee keels over on a live debate stage. Must be sad to be a goddamn partisan Democrat right now. I think there are fewer of them than a few years ago. That's about all. Peace out.